When I married Daniel 5 years ago, I never imagined how complicated things would become down the road. He was charming, attentive, and everything I had dreamed of after a difficult divorce. His son, Nathan, was 10 at the time, quiet but polite, and we only saw him every other weekend due to a custody agreement with Daniel's ex-wife, Michelle. I respected their boundaries, kept my role as stepmother gentle and unobtrusive, and tried my best to be someone Nathan could eventually trust. Fast forward to the summer Nathan turned 15. Michelle got an opportunity to travel to Europe for a 6-month photography residency. It was a once-in-a-lifetime chance, and though Daniel was hesitant at first, we both agreed it would be good for Nathan to live with us full-time during that period. I thought it would be a wonderful chance to bond more with him, to finally have the opportunity to make our home feel like his. We prepared a room for him upstairs, painted the walls his favorite shade of navy blue, hung posters of his favorite basketball players, and even installed a small gaming setup he'd been eyeing. Everything seemed ready. I imagined peaceful family dinners, movie nights, and long talks about school and life. But nothing ever goes exactly as you expect. 3 weeks after Nathan moved in, we were hit with a home renovation disaster. A pipe burst in the upstairs hallway bathroom while Daniel and I were out at work, flooding half of the second floor before the plumber could even get there. Nathan's room was soaked, and his bed, along with much of his furniture, was ruined. We immediately moved his things out to dry and tried to make the guest room work for him. But the guest bed was small and uncomfortable, and the room smelled faintly of the moisture damage from a previous leak. It was Daniel who suggested, "Why doesn't he just stay in our room for a couple nights? I'll sleep on the couch in the living room while we figure it out." It seemed simple enough. Nathan would get the bed. I'd stay on the other side with a pillow and blanket until we made other arrangements. I agreed. We figured it would be temporary. The first night felt odd, though I told myself it was just because we weren't used to it. Nathan was quiet, curled up on one end of the bed, scrolling through his phone with headphones in. I turned off the lamp and lay there in the dark, listening to the soft tapping of rain outside and the occasional rustle of bedsheets. By the third night, something shifted. Nathan asked if we could talk. I sat up, expecting a conversation about school or maybe some personal stuff. What he said instead left me stunned. "Claire," he began hesitantly, "I know I've never said this before, but I'm really glad you're my stepmom." I smiled, touched. "That means a lot, Nathan. I know it hasn't been easy having a new woman in your life." "No," he said, shaking his head. "You don't get it. You're the first adult who's made me feel like I matter, like my voice means something." His words pierced through me, warming and aching all at once. I scooted closer, resting a gentle hand on his shoulder. "You do matter. More than you know." Nathan opened up about his fears, about not being good enough, about his mom being distant, about feeling like a guest in our house. I listened for hours, comforting him the best I could, assuring him that this was his home too. That night, we both fell asleep in the same room, emotionally exhausted but connected in a way I hadn't expected. I felt a deeper responsibility, an emotional tie that went beyond just being his stepmother. I realized he needed not just structure, but genuine affection and belief in him. The next morning, Daniel was surprised when I told him what had happened, but he was grateful too. "He's never opened up like that before," he admitted. "I think he's finally starting to feel safe." We kept sharing the room for another week while repairs dragged on. Each night, Nathan became more talkative. He asked questions about my childhood, my first job, even how I met his dad. I started to look forward to those moments, those late-night, half-whispered conversations that you can only have when the world outside is quiet. One night, Nathan didn't say much. He just sat on the edge of the bed, staring out the window. I asked if everything was okay. After a pause, he said, "I'm scared that when my room's ready, things will go back to how they were. That we'll stop talking." I assured him that nothing had to change. "Your room may change, but this, our connection, this is permanent." When his room was finally fixed, Nathan moved back upstairs. But the bond we'd created stayed strong. We had breakfast together more often. He'd come to me with questions about high school drama or ask if I could review his writing assignments. I became more than the woman married to his dad. I became someone he truly trusted. The most shocking part of all of this wasn't sharing a room with my stepson. It was discovering how much I had to offer him, and how much he offered me in return. I had never wanted children of my own, thinking I wouldn't be good at it, thinking I wouldn't know how to love the right way. But Nathan changed that. He made me see the mother in myself I didn't know existed. One evening, months later, when we were sitting at the kitchen table together, Nathan looked up from his textbook and said, "Claire, you're the closest thing I've had to a mom in a long time." I didn't know whether to cry or laugh, so I did both. And that night, when I shared the moment with Daniel, he hugged me tightly and whispered, "You've changed both our lives." I never expected to share a room with my stepson. But what happened during those few short weeks opened my heart in ways I never saw coming. It reminded me that sometimes life places you in strange, uncomfortable situations, not to punish you, but to give you the chance to grow and love in unexpected ways. And for that, I will always be grateful. Thumbnail text. She shared a room with her stepson. What happened next shocked her. Female character picture prompt. A kind-looking woman in her mid-30s with chestnut-brown shoulder-length hair and soft hazel eyes. She wears a light cardigan over a floral blouse and jeans. She's sitting on the edge of a neatly made bed in a softly lit bedroom, her expression warm and reflective, as if she's listening to someone speak from the other side of the room.